But I took it as an opportunity. My peers and my seniors, they encouraged me to give it a try, and that's how my career started. HR to me, once I stepped into HR, it was never administrative. It was all about shaping environments, about creating an impact not to individuals, but to the community, to the families. I was entrusted by my superiors with the responsibilities that were actually beyond my comfort zone. Our staff turnover for the first time, it actually was very high, including the leadership team, including the middle management level.
Mhm.
So the also with the new banks coming up in the Sultanate, so many
Mhm.
people actually they moved to more stable organizations. Once we came there, we had a very well planned execution strategy. That's what we encourage. It's more of partnership, it's more of advisory, it's more of consulting and partnering with the stakeholders. Culture is the outcome of whatever actions we do. So we
Mhm.
introduced this program where we had a very structured mechanism for the people across the bank to go and
Mhm.
spend a day in another function and see
Mhm.
how things were going.
You nearly have 2 decades like the experience in the current organization and serving as a chief of people's officer. I mean, I would say that's not like the just career longevity, but that's a evolution. So before, like what Rahul said, like we talked together on the your strategy, the transformation. So I would like to really, I mean, a flashback saying like, let's go to the beginning, saying like, what made you think to take a decision as a HR and the people leadership? What was the intent? I mean, was it like the intention or you did that as a professional choose you? So how did you land into the HR is the question.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. Actually, initially, I did not set out to build a career in HR. And I come with a completely different background. So, actually, initially, I did not set out to build a career in HR. I come from a completely different background. Actually, it may be surprising to hear I was in medicine field, and then as a person, I'm a very kind-hearted person, and also as the values, the family values, the way I have been brought up, it's all about people from since my childhood. And then after graduation, I joined the HSBC. I was not in HR, and I was just picked as a part of the graduate management trainee program, and they selected me to be in the HR. And I was actually surprised. And my first question to them was, what HR does? Because the mindset those days was that HR is very operational and it's very administrative function, and it is just limited to the payroll and administration. But I took it as an opportunity. My peers and my seniors, they encouraged me to give it a try, and that's how my career started as a fresh graduate with HSBC those days. And I was actually inspired by the idea that people's strategy is business strategy. So HR to me, once I stepped into HR, it was never administrative. It was all about shaping environments, about creating an impact not to individuals, but to the community, to the families. And here where after completion of 2 years of my journey at HR, I decided to take it as my career. And here where I started advancing my academic qualifications in the HR. So that's how my journey began.
I mean, that's interesting, like some medicine to HR. And as you said, like that aligns with your core philosophy individually as well as the way you are born and brought up, like the family values, etc. way. And I'm sure like that would have helped you in really coming close and then transform the people in the right direction. So when you reflect your 18 plus year experience, current organization, I mean, what were like the defining moments that shaped up you as a leader? So there must be like something, some moment which has really shaped up like you as a great leader.
Yeah, actually, many defining moments. And one of the moment is the trust. I was entrusted by my superiors with the responsibilities that were actually beyond my comfort zone. And in the beginning, I really felt uncomfortable because it was not easy. But with time, I realized that those were the moments which really shaped up my career, and it gave me the different insights. Another was also the leading change, because during my journey, even with my existing job role, it's a transformational organization. So I worked within my 18 years of career with my existing organization with six CEOs.
Mhm.
So the change in the beginning was very uncomfortable, and it was not easy actually to deal with different type of leadership styles. But that gave me a very different learning experience. So I realized that adaptability to the situation and working with the different leadership styles was one of the defining moments actually for me.
Yeah, and I think you are spot on. And then that's my favorite. I keep saying, and most of the interview it is repeated, like what Darwin says, like adaptability is the way forward. I mean, so someone who's like adaptable to the changes, like the transfer. So here comes the like the next question. So saying staying and growing within the one institution nearly more than 2 decades is really rare today. I mean, you can't see like people really staying decades in the same way and still growing. And you mentioned like six odd the superiors or the leaders you have worked with a different style. So what kept you still inspired, and how did you keep reinventing yourself while staying still rooted to your core things?
Actually, I have been fortunate during my journey to work with the leaders who challenged me always, and also the team around me. I was lucky to work with the team who had always inspired me during this journey. And there was so much happening at my existing organization that every new phase of growth, I felt like joining a new organization. So always there were fresh ambitions, the high expectations. And for example, after also when we merged with the HSBC Aman, and it was like you have reinvented, ourselves to brand the new organization. So in the beginning, when I joined the organization, um, before 8 years, we rebranded the entire organization. So that's what kept me moving, because I never felt that I should be looking for a different opportunity. Because at my existing organization itself, I felt like every time it's a fresh start. And actually, the journey was very inspirational. We went through a lot of challenges. There were times when we were about to be, taken over. But today I can proudly say that I'm leading one of the organization which is at a very high transformational organization in the country.
I mean, that's interesting, and then you're not a person who like will be comfortable with the status quo. And as you mentioned, like the same organization kept throwing the newer challenges and the newer learning, and that kept you motivated. So what was there ever moment where you felt tested? And that moment transformed you, like so was there any moment like in last 2 decades, I mean, that really tested you and which has really, I mean, taken your leadership to the next level?
Actually, many moments, I would say, but uh, one of the moment where it's close to my heart, because there were times when the organization itself was going through a lot of changes, and that was a particular year where our staff turnover for the first time, it actually was very high, including the leadership team, including the middle management level.
Mhm.
So the also with the new banks coming up in the Sultanate, so many
Mhm.
people actually they moved to more stable organizations,
Mhm.
and that was the time where I also turned out some of the opportunities, and I decided actually to continue the journey.
Mhm.
So, and during that journey, we didn't, there was times we didn't have a well-defined strategy, the vision, the value, the purpose. It was just on the papers. But we, leadership team, we ourselves, we crafted that journey. So we all went together and we were locked up for 4 days on the offsite meeting where we crafted our own journey without the help of any external consultants. And I think that was the changing moment for me. And
Mhm.
once we came there, we had a very well planned execution strategy. So it no more became just, a memory or just remembering those words, but truly living the values. So we embedded a lot of practices where we really educated people, and we played a big role on how to translate those values and our mission into reality. So after that, we started seeing fruitful results. So I think that was a turning moment, personally speaking, for me.
Yeah, and I think it's well articulated. So I think the one liner for you. So like it's not like you are not just managing the HR, but like you are shaping the culture. Because like what I see, whatever like I heard. So I mean, yeah, most of the time like people just do that as a job, and as you said, like the recruitment, etc. But you are really shaping and transforming the things. I mean, that's really great and then quite unique. So as a chief people's officer, how do you personally define your mission?
So, as Chief People Officer, my core mission is to build a culture where performance and purpose coexist. So, it is about ensuring how we can attract, develop, and
Mhm.
retain the right talent. It's a very value-based organization. So, I personally ensure that our talent is very much aligned with our values and strategic direction. So, my core goal has been always to enable the leaders to lead better and also employees to grow with the bank. And I personally ensure that we are the strategic partners. We are not at the other side of the table, no, but we are in fact the part of the business discussions. And that's what we encourage. It's more of partnership, it's more of advisory, it's more of consulting and partnering with the stakeholders.
Yeah, and that's nice. So when you walk into the organization and say the culture is strong, what does that actually feel like? Feels like.
True, because the culture for me, it is lived in. People have to live that culture. And culture is the outcome of whatever actions we do. So sometimes people tell me, so I tell them the same thing. I think the culture is the sum up, whatever we do day to day, that becomes your culture. And there has been a lot of focus on having that culture at Sohar International.
Yeah, I mean, I truly agree with that because I keep saying same thing like here internally to our team. So like whatever we say, we need to live that moment. It should be in your blood, like imbibe into your blood. So I mean, I can really, uh, I mean, understand that and appreciate that. So culture is like easy to define in the words, but hard to build in practice. I mean, that's really tough. So what are the conscious choices you as a leader or you would suggest like leaders must make daily to sustain it?
So I think for me, a strong organization culture is about clarity, about consistency, and living it daily. So it is also reflected in your day-to-day decisions, how your decisions are made, how you are giving the feedback to your subordinates, and how the success is recognized. And I think to sustain it, you must embed it into all your leadership behaviors, on your performance management, and also the talent development. So, culture cannot be a statement on a wall, and it must be visible in your day to day actions. And that's how we did. We actually put a lot of efforts on how we can link the well-defined values of our bank into different initiatives. when it comes to performance management, when it comes to recruitment, when it comes to the talent retention. So this is what I believe into. There were times when we were actually memorizing
Mm.
the defining moment. What I explained, that we worked on these values, and it
Values.
was looking very beautiful, on the notebook. And in the beginning, we used to memorize that. Whenever we go in the meeting, myself, I used to memorize that. That if somebody asks me what are our values, I should be ready for the answer. But then we started embedding that into each practice, and that's how I can personally see from the past 7 years how the things have redefined and reshaped in today. And actually, that helped us a lot. It was one of the smoother merger when it happened with HSBC Aman, and these whatever practices we had adopted, that helped us in a very smooth integration.
That's good. So when you talked about like the merger, so during the transformation and especially like the banking, which is like well regulated, the alignment is everything. So how do you ensure like the people strategy moves? Uh, I mean, they lockstep with the business strategy or they are aligned. So how do you ensure? Because at times it becomes very difficult when the industry is regulated, such as banking.
And that's true. Actually, for me, alignment is the key. And alignment with the begins with developing a deep understanding of your business operating
Mm,
models, and also to understand how the business runs,
mm,
and how in the banking sector it's all about money. So how this money is made, how the costs are managed, and the first of all, what our customers want from us.
mm.
So, with us, the people group, we have redefined also. At times, we were called as HR. Now, we have redefined ourselves as people
Because
group. And the people group actually must sit at the strategic table, not as the observers, but as contributors.
contributors.
And there were times when the HR was not involved in these business decisions. It was more of executors. So you just get the business plan and you have to just execute. But today, no. We are part of the contributors, and during the growth and changes phases, this becomes even more critical. So, the way we do the business strategies, we are part of the formulation of the business strategy from day one. And once the business strategies are formulated, then the people strategy comes into place.
Mm.
So for me, I never work on my strategy beforehand. No. So I get engaged with my team, with all the business stakeholders. After we understand their strategies, we contribute. And then based on that, only we formulate and execute the people strategy. So I think to sum up, the continuous engagement with the business leaders is very important. And also we need to ensure we have proper frameworks to ensure that our initiatives are have measurable outcomes, and they very much aligned with the bank's overall strategy.
I like the angle of the contributors, like which is like quite unique. You mentioned, and then that contributors like also must be creating the accountability also. So instead of just getting into the execution part, but they are aligned as a part of the strategy and they contribute. I mean that's really, I mean sounds interesting. So when typically like this decisions, the kind of the decision which you take, it affects like the lives, the careers, the morale. So what leadership values that anchors you?
So for me, it's all about trust, and it boils down to the how can you gain the trust of the people. That's very important for me, and I feel very proud that even sometimes the people who have left the organizations, they personally connect with me. They connect with us to take advices, which is not very usual thing to happen. And the integrity, the fairness, and accountability. These are the three factors which personally guide my decisions. And because your decisions, as you rightly said, it impacts employees, it impacts the culture. And in this situation, the transparency, it becomes very essential. So for me, it's not about the rosy words and the rosy promises. It's about all about transparency. And people, they come and people say that dealing with people is more challenging than dealing with the customers and with the, but for me, no. I believe that once you're transparent with the people, you are very clear, they do understand. So these are the key factors which I have personally followed as a leader.
Yeah, well, that's quite interesting. So, yeah, so Sohar International has been like on the significant transformation journey. So, from your lens, what role has like the people's functions played enabling that transformation?
So, from people, see, transformation has been always about the systems, about the processes, about the technology, which I personally believe is easy to actually implement.
Mhm.
But from people perspective, what we have focusing upon is upon the mindset and the capability development. Because with times when the transformation happens, it's very challenging to change people's mindset. So we have focused a lot on the leadership alignment, on the skill development, and the fostering agility, not only from employees' perspective, also from customers' perspective. Because culturally speaking, people do not get adaptable to transformation easily. And the change succeeds only when people understand the why and feel equipped to adapt. So there was a lot of focus on reskilling the people, how to unlearn, and then we actually train them, and in terms of the capability development. So the mindset and the capability development, these are the two things which we were really focused upon in our transformational journey from people's perspective.
Yeah, I mean that's good. So how HR is, I mean, you don't call it as a HR, but how it is evolving and not just like operationally, but strategically.
So, as I mentioned earlier, because the involvement into the business decisions, that is the core, and it's no more about operations
Okay.
now because strategically what we have done, we have leveraged a lot upon the new technology, the process reengineerings, and also introduced the AI tools and how we can make processes seamless. Because there were times when we were using the people mostly to handle things operationally. The payroll, it used to take 3 weeks to just handle. Today it's all at a click of button. So now most of our people at the people group, they are more of the customer at the customer front. So they are more into the fields. They are more into listening to the people and how we can help them in resolving their challenges. And the counseling, the advisory, it has also played a big role. And it has become more strategic in nature in terms of the capability development also. Because this bank is, our bank is actually formulated in 2007. There were a lot of legacy issues here when it comes to people transformation as well. So we actually launched SI Academy. It helped us. The focus was actually how we can leverage upon the SI Academy in terms of developing, reskilling our people to meet the future demands. There is also a lot of focus on the future generations. So we have actually a lot of we partner a lot with the youth development to bring the fresh perspective. It becomes easier for us to train these fresh minds who can support and who can drive by becoming future leaders of our transformational journey.
So you talked about like the AI. So like the next question is like with AI and the automation, I mean, which is like really reshaping and some form and shape you have already implemented at your place. But what excites you most and what concerns you the most? Because like I mean, though AI is a I mean silver bullet, I mean in today's world we may call it as. But like there are like the pros, there are the cons. So what excites and what are the your the concerns about it?
So the AI, it excites me a lot actually because it will help us to use these our existing creative minds more effectively so that we can free them down with this cumbersome processes because we are killing the creativity. If the people are doing the same job again and again, I have seen in my career, you take very creative graduates, but they are so much stuck into the cumbersome processes and day to day routine activities, and over a period of time, that creativity just dies off. So, by introducing these AI, we can utilize these people more effectively. We can leverage upon more creativity and innovation. What worries me, there was time I was worried as well because I was thinking, okay, AI is coming, the jobs will be redundant. That's what messages we used to get, that AI gonna take over jobs. Okay, what happens to these people then? But with time, I realized no, AI will not take over jobs, but people may become redundant who do not adopt themselves to these new technology. So that's what I always advise people. Sometimes people come into my office, okay, you are introducing Mahara this new technology. It means that I will have no job. So that mindset we need to clear. And the only thing worries me that the people who will not be agile, they are not adaptable, and they will not adopt to the new technology, they will be left behind. So what we have done at Sohar International, we have already identified the jobs which will be taking over through this new technology. And now we are putting a lot of efforts to, first of all, to educate these people, to give them comfort that you have the job security. And then we are taking them through intensive programs through our SI Academy to reskill them for the future jobs.
Correct. So, I mean, you rightly articulated. So, AI is not going to really snatch their job. But having said that, they cannot be sitting in the comfort zone doing nothing. So, they'll have to really elevate themselves like, for like the better skills and then use AI as their assistant to get a better result. So what do you see as like the biggest opportunity for the AI in enhancing your employee experience, such as like the hiring, learning, performance management, etc.?
Actually, AI presents very strong opportunities to enhance employee experience. So we are currently working on embedding the AI capabilities in our HR systems to enable the smarter recruitment processes and also to personalize the learning pathways and also the data driven because uh, we cannot underestimate the data driven insights because it helps us a lot to take the informed decisions. So the technology can make us to help us to make the better decisions, but again, it should complement the human judgment as well. So the focus with us is to embed these AI practices into our recruitment so that our hiring becomes smarter. The performance management system, the KPIs are always the challenge because performance management system cannot be perfect no matter how much you try. So we are trying to embed the AI to see how it can help us in having enhanced performance management mechanism. But despite of all this focus and investments we are doing in AI, equally our focus is also to ensure that we do not miss the human element out of it. So even we encourage a lot people working from home, flexible working hours, but in parallel we also work on a lot of engagement platforms so that we do not use the human part of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's spot on because, like, I mean, though we are using this technology, but using this technology, that human touch or human element, even that can be like even elevated more. So, what new skills and the mindset will define the successful leader in AI-enabled workspace going forward?
So for me, it's two, basically the curiosity and adaptability. So I think these two are important factors, and also the acceptance, because some of the leaders, for example, the Gen Zs. So
Mhm.
I there was times I get a lot of complaints about, it's difficult to deal with them. They are very difficult. Their working style is different, but the question comes to me over a period of time, and which I always ask them. I tell them that maybe it's about adaptability. Maybe these Gen Zs are right, actually. Maybe we have to, as leaders, change our working style by getting more adaptable mindset, because that's the future. So to sum up, for me, I feel curiosity and adaptability. We need to, as leaders, get there.
I mean, it's a very valid point because even I never thought of it. Because like it is always like we compare with like our experience and then I mean using our own lens and the yardstick. So if you have to really measure them, so you need to use their yardstick, not ours. I mean that's like a very interesting point here you made. So in today's competitive talent landscape, what truly makes you like the makes like the employee stay and beyond the compensation, the benefit, what creates the emotional connection? I mean, though earlier also you have spoken few points, but if you can highlight here as well.
Yeah, for me, I feel it's overall well-being of an employee, because compensation definitely matters, but I think over a period of time it just becomes a hygiene factor. So at Sohar International, we actually invest a lot of time in creating the culture which is linked to employee overall well-being. So the speak up culture, we have a very open speak up culture where we have open door policy. People can walk into any one's office without prior appointments. Then we do a lot of town halls we conduct at each level. We have many programs, informal programs, the coffee with CEO, the coffee with
Mhm.
CPO, and we gather a lot of feedback through different forums. We also invest a lot in people well-being, because with this changing world, the stress is increasing a lot, and the stress was always there. But I think now people are coming up. They talk about the stress management because of the increased awareness. And so we do a lot of programs for our employee stress management. We have also connection with some of the counselors where people can just go and support them, and the families as well. So we connect well with the families, the communities. We have different alumni
Mhm.
programs in this regard. So I think it's overall connection which helps people to stay more, and also the development opportunities, because the world is changing so fast, and if you don't give proper career opportunities to our own people, they will leave you. The High Potentials program, the leadership program as well. The diversity was a challenge at times with us. So we have come up with many structured programs where we are bringing our female leaders up. So just to summarize, it's overall employee well-being, which is a
Mhm.
mix of capability development, the proper career paths, speak up culture, and also the benefits, what they get from the organization.
And that's well articulated. So, is there any initiative which you are particularly proud of, and something that meaningfully elevated employee experience?
Um, There are actually quite a few which really we feel proud of. Okay, I will just give you an example which is more linked to our DEI, our diversity. So, culturally speaking, we didn't have enough ladies in the top management and the middle management team. So, almost 6 years back, we had a team offsite meeting. So when I entered there, I was hardly looking for some females around, and we couldn't find much. So we worked on a very extensive leadership program where we encouraged the ladies to come up. And today I can proudly say that our ratio of the female leadership, it increased from it was below 15%, and today it's almost about 35%. So it really helped us to elevate the experience of the employees when it comes to the female cadre.
I mean, I think that's
Maybe I
really.
will, sorry, maybe I will give you another example is the
Mhm,
launch of our Sohar International Academy,
mhm,
which really elevated the experience of the people in terms of the learning and
mhm.
capability development.
I mean, that's really incredible, like from 15% to 35%. I mean, amazing. So if employee have to describe Sohar's culture in 3 words, what would you hope they say?
Straight up,
Okay.
human, and do the right thing.
Oh, that's good. So you have been strong advocate of like inclusion. So in practical or day-to-day terms, what does an inclusive organization feels like?
So the inclusion, the diversity, for example, um, uh, we believe in diversified culture despite of regulatory concerns when it comes on immunization. So again, there were times we had only three nationals in the bank. Today we have 22 nationalities working about that. And inclusivity for me, it is not only about the gender, female and male ratio, but it's more of the transparency. It's more of different nationalities. As I mentioned, we are currently running with 22 different nationals, and it's about fairness and transparency.
Yeah. So I think the name itself is a Sohar International, and with the 22 nationality, it truly makes it like international. So like, who inspired you during the your journey? A mentor, a moment, a setback.
Actually, the question comes sometimes that who is your role model. So throughout my journey I've been inspired by the leaders who were with combined ambition and humility.
Mhm.
So the way I have been done, uh, wherever I feel, because every leader you find inspiration through them. So I have been always learning from different people. Wherever fitted for me, I took it as inspiration to me. But the most critical for me, the leaders whom I have been inspired, who had a very clear vision, ambitious, and at the same time, humility.
That's good. So how do you consciously pass that inspiration forward?
Uh, Communication, because I usually share those experiences with people, walk in through different town halls. and communication through different channels.
If you could live like a future HR leader or people's leader with a one piece of the advice navigating transformation, AI, people leadership, what would it be?
So, my advice to future people leaders is to stay curious and business focused. So, understand the technology, but never lose sight of people. The future will demand agility, ethical clarity, and courage. So, those who can combine strategic insight with genuine care for people will create a long lasting impact.
And that's great. So, Mahira, I mean, like that's this has been powerful conversation with you. So your
Thank you.
journey beautifully reflects like how people, purpose, the transformation must move together. It's not, they cannot be in silos and cannot be independently. And not just as a separate agenda, but like one integrated philosophy. You talk about the all that integration and integrity, etc. So, I mean, this is really amazing. So, thanks for sharing your leadership story with us. And then, I mean, we'll continue to keep in touch with you, seek your guidance as and when required. I mean, it was, I mean, really amazing. I mean, I can't express that, but it was amazing conversations.
Thank you so much. If you allow me, can I just take 10 seconds?
Absolutely. I
Because,
mean, you can take
yeah,
it. I mean,
because
it's
it
so
just,
interesting. So,
yeah,
I mean, we can just go on when that's not a problem.
no, because it just clicked me. Going back to your question of the experience, what people really had, it impacted the question you asked me overall, where I
Mhm.
gave you the example of the female leadership
Mm.
program.
Yeah.
It just clicked me to highlight one of the major initiatives we took by introducing a program, A Day in the Life of,
Mhm.
because that had an impact on the bigger audience.
Mhm.
Because usually we don't realize what's happening in the shoes of another department. So we
Mhm.
introduced this program where we had a very structured mechanism for the people across the bank to go and
Mhm.
spend a day in another function and see
Mhm.
how things were going. And
Mhm.
before they go, it was a very structured. They also highlighted their challenges. And after spending a day there, they were giving a target actually to resolve those challenges and come back. So
Mhm.
it just clicked me to highlight because that had a bigger impact on the larger audience.
Yeah.
So it just clicked me. I thought I should highlight
No, no,
that.
man, that so nice of you. So, and that's really amazing. So interesting conversations, and then we
Thank you.
will keep in touch with you.
Thank you.
And as like Rahul extract the summary out of this conversation, he or Archie will reach out to you